You have to shut it off, okay? I'll let it. Why didn't it come up? See? Oh, now it's okay.
No, it's still not showing.
At least the arrow was not there.
It's not working.
See the arrow? Camera's on.
Yeah, it definitely is, Dad. I don't know why it's not. See, but here's. You're not,
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not.
Well, maybe
showing.
It's just a little shy of 7:30 though, Sal.
yeah.
So am I the only one on tonight?
Yes.
Chrissy, is with Bill being a backup, is he allowed to ask questions or he just has to be able to listen?
Absolutely. He is, other than voting, because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we have a full complement of the board. Bill won't vote, but he's allowed to participate in every other way. Well, now we have a full complement of the board. But yeah.
Hey, Tom? Okay, it's 7:30, so we have everybody, Margaret?
Yes, we do.
Okay. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is the August 15th meeting of the Zoning Board of Appeals for the town of Ossining. My name is Sal Carrera, Chairman, and joining me this evening are members of the Zoning Board of Appeals, Town Attorney, Building Inspector, and the Town Secretary. For the record, please, everyone, introduce yourselves.
Lynn Farrell, member of the zoning board.
David O'Neill, member.
David Krieger, member.
Tom Wills, member.
Bill Boyd, member. Alternate member.
Thank you, John. Got it, yeah. Okay, we have one hearing, which is a continuation of our May 16th. I will read the public notice and then request the applicant or the representatives to give a brief explanation of the relief sought. Anyone that has a comment should raise their hand and state their name and address. After the comments are received, the board will try to render a decision this evening. Notice is hereby given that a public hearing of the Town of Ossining Zoning Board of Appeals will be held on Monday, August 15th, 2022 at 7:30 p.m. on the application of John M. Riley, AIA, for property owners Jessica and Samuel Rivera, 5 McCarthy Drive, Town of Ossining. The meeting will be held via Zoom video conferencing in accordance with state authority. However, should such authority terminate, the meeting will be held in person at the Operations Center at Route 9A, 101, Ossining, New York, 10562. The property is located at 5 McCarthy Drive in the unincorporated area of the town of Ossining, identified on the tax map of the town of Ossining, section 89.07, block 3, lot 15, in an R20A one-family resident zoning district. The applicant is seeking an area variance from the terms of the zoning code of the town of Ossining, chapter 200-21, one family residence in residential district, paragraph C, maximum floor area of a one-family residence shall be equal to 5,000 plus lot area minus 43,560 times 0.052521. The applicant is seeking a variance of 134 square feet to build two rear additions and one raised main floor deck. Application material and revised plans dated July 7th, 2022, prepared by John M. Riley, AIA, 70 Main Street, Huntington, New York, 11743, titled Additions and Alterations, Mr. and Mrs. Samuel Rivera, 5 McCarthy Drive, Austin, New York, are available for public inspection at the Town of Austin Building Department or online. All interested persons are invited to attend the public hearing to be heard on this matter. The public can send written comments by email to the Building Department at townofaustin.com or regular mail to the Town of Austin Zoning Board of Appeals, Post Office Box 1166, Austin, New York, 10562. Please feel free to contact our office by phone if you need any additional information regarding the zoning board meeting process at 914-762-8419. By order of the Zoning Board of Appeals, Sal Carrera, Chairman, dated August 5th, 2022. As you know, and I stated previously, there's a continuation of the May 16th request that was put in. And at that time, they were asking for 527 square feet for the additional additions to the house. This board basically asked them to go back to the drawing board and come up with a plan that would be more palatable to this board and to the neighborhood. So, Mr. Riley, if you don't mind telling us what you did, and then we'll open it up, the continuation of the public, and then we'll go from there.
Can you give me a screen share?
Margaret, can you let Mr. Riley share his screen?
Whoops. Oh, everyone see it now?
Not yet.
Not. All right. Share screen.
Mr. Riley? See if you can share screen down on the bottom.
Yeah, I'm almost there, I think.
Here we go.
Good.
We all good?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, so as you know from the last meeting, we proposed to expand their home so that Sam can have a better quality of life. His movement in a home is currently restricted to the existing living room, the bedroom suite located in the lower level, and he has vertical access through the ADA elevator. The first thing we did on the lower level is we basically, get to it. On the lower level, oops, we kept this room the same because he really needs space for additional exercise equipment and recreation. The exercise equipment is very important to him in order to, you know, increase his quality of life by strengthening his body and the parts that he can strengthen. What we did do, though, is we removed the chimney that was on the side over here. So we actually wound up reducing the square footage from 322 to 310 for this space. Otherwise, generally, the lower level plan stayed the same. When we get to the upper level plan, if you recall, there was a porch that was in between that ran out in here. That was approximately 300 square feet. That's been since removed. So that was a 300 square foot reduction. And what we wound up doing was, instead of having a family room on the second floor, which is really what they wanted, we wound up doing a deck on top of his exercise recreation room. And for the same reason, this is also only 310 square feet because there was a chimney out there in the family room that has been since removed. Jessica's master suite, we've also trimmed that back. It used to be 348 square feet. We reduced it down to 295. Basically pulled it in a little on both sides and made this closet a little bit smaller. And that pretty much accounts for the reduction in the square footage from the original 527S down to 134 square feet, which is approximately a 3.45% over what's allowed versus what was asked. I think it was somewhere between 13 and 15%. So we've made a tremendous effort, I think, to reduce the square footage of the project so that that hopefully it's more acceptable to the board. The intention of design is to provide more living space for Sam and to make the majority of the house handicap accessible. We've respected the setbacks and the lot coverage. This is the only one variance that we are asking for. And all the additions are located at the rear of the house. The distance from the corner of this addition is over 100 feet to the rear property line. So everything stays pretty close to the house, and there's a large green space in between the house and the rear property line. I think the benefit to the Rivera's quality of life will be far greater than any detriment to the neighbors, and we respectfully request that the board grant this variance, considering the hardship the family and Sam is enduring.
Thank you. I also want to thank you for taking this board suggestion and coming back with a revamped plan. Board members, any questions?
No questions. And likewise, I think in the previous meeting, we had concerns about the two-story kind of bulk reading on the rear of the house. And I think this successfully addresses that and reduces kind of the mass of the building, and then the kind of smaller footprints of each of the individual pieces goes a long way and towards making a much more modest addition. So I think it's really nice update to the plans.
Thanks, David. Other members of the board before we go out to the public?
My comment would be that I agree, but this really wasn't in essence a square footage problem. It was the way it fit into the community and the neighborhood, and so I really want to strengthen on my side that the changes really makes it fit right in with the neighborhood, and I think that was my most of my concern. So I agree. I appreciate the effort.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. Anyone else on the board?
Yeah, same here. I agree with the two previous members. And I believe that the concerns about water runoff would be addressed by the fact that there's a lot less construction at this point. Would you agree with that?
Well, the suggestion that I had made with regards to that is that John should be called in and taking a look because they are allowed to put in the pool, and they're going to continue doing that, I assume. But there's still plenty of green open area in the back of the building. But any concerns should be addressed by the building department if and when we approve this here. So everything that Mr. Riley did, I think satisfied our main concerns of the last meeting. But I'm still open to comments from our board Anybody else on our board? Bill?
No comments from me. Thank you.
Thank you,
It looks
Bill.
good.
Okay. Members of the audience, anybody? Margaret?
No sound,
Yeah,
No.
Margaret, anybody?
no hands
Raise
up.
Nobody?
If you're here from if you're here from the public and you would like to speak on this application, please use the raise your hand feature on the bottom of your screen to alert yourself.
Hello.
Yes, Kelly?
Oh, hi. I was wondering,
Kelly, can I have your full name and address, please?
sure, it's Kelly Herrick. And I live at 76 Cedar Lane, so my house is right behind their house. So any water's gonna come down because I'm on a slightly lower elevation, and I appreciate them changing these plans. My architect looked at this and said that if the porch is screened in, that's gonna create quite a bit of volume for the neighborhood. And I was wondering if that was part of the plan, because I was under the impression it was. And I also wanted to know if you received the letter I had sent from my architect. I just sent it a couple of hours ago.
Well, we haven't received it. So that's number one. Number two is that I'll ask the architect to answer any of those questions with regards to what he has found with these plans and the soil and your comments. And like I said the last time, because I know that you had the same complaint about the possibility of water,
Mhm.
talk to John Hamilton. And I don't know if you did, and I don't know if John ever went out to see you, but I think that's something that should be done.
Yeah, well, I was traveling, and since it hasn't been raining for the last month, it hasn't been, I just found out about this a couple days ago, but I would definitely like to have him come out.
Okay,
Well, I think it's important to understand there are two types of water flow. There's water that naturally flows, and then there's water that's artificially diverted. So if there's any water that's naturally flowing, they're not in violation. They cannot artificially divert water. Now, I'll obviously be working with the architect when we look at the plans to see how water is going to flow off the project. If it turns out it's artificially being diverted, then they'd have to supply some type of a system that would prevent it from going off the property.
Okay. And then in terms of the bulkiness, am I correct that it would be screened in at the top? Because can I share my architect's letter? Or,
you can, listen, I mean,
well,
this is real, it's tough, to give us something now while we're having the meeting. This meeting has been scheduled for weeks, and I understand about people's timing, but you're asking us now to take a look at someone else's information, okay, that we don't even have in front of us. So I really am going to go by what Mr. Hamilton has said, and have him discuss the information that your architect put in writing. That's if we vote and approve this evening.
okay.
And then, we'll go from there. Mr. Hamilton knows what he's doing. And, you live and learn, knowledge is power. So if there's going to be a problem because of this construction and water saturation because of the construction, that's something that has to be resolved, okay, with the building department, contractor, homeowners, and the architect. If it's natural, then, we all have that problem. And
No,
you're
I
100%
understand.
And you're 100% correct. Just take a look at the lawns. It hasn't rained in over a month. So it is, very dry out there now. But at this stage of the game, I think it's a little too late, and please correct me, Chrissy, that, we're in this.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Chairman, what I would also say is that, there's the State Environmental Quality Review Act. And so there's certain actions that are considered to, as a matter of practice, they're considered type 2. So the state has already determined they're not going to have a significant adverse environmental impact. And additions to a single family home is one of those types of actions. So so there's no environmental review that's required for this board. And like Mr. Hamilton said, this is something that will have to be worked out at the building department, at the building permit stage. The other thing to keep in mind is what this board is actually looking at in terms of the variance that's being requested. So you're seeking, the applicant is seeking, but for a 147, I believe, square foot addition to the house.
Yeah, this is basically an area variance.
That's
That's what we're going
what
by.
you're looking at in terms of what these plans are.
Okay. Any other comments from audience members?
Mr. Riley, can you stop sharing your screen?
Oh, sure.
Thank you, Ms. Henrik.
Okay,
Any other body raising their hand, Margaret?
No, Sal, no other hands.
Okay, so I'd like to have a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
thank you. The public hearing is closed. I'd like to take a vote on those in favor of granting this variance. Lynn?
Mr. Chairman, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Is this okay? I would just ask, in light of the public comment we've received tonight, I would just like to go through the criteria for an area variance point by point with you, and have comments on the record from the board.
Well, I was going to be asking, the criteria for the area variance that,
The character of the neighborhood or a detriment to nearby properties.
yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen on the board, they're asking for a variance of 150 plus feet. And there's a balancing act with regards to what you take into consideration. Number one is whether an undesirable change will be produced in the character of the neighborhood or detriment to nearby properties will be created by granting of the area variance. Two, whether the benefits sought by the applicant can be achieved by some other method feasible for the applicant to pursue other than the area variance. Three, whether the requested area variance is substantial. Four, whether the proposed variance will have an adverse effect on the physical or environmental conditions in the neighborhood or district, and whether the alleged difficulty was self-created. This factor is relevant to the decision, but the fact that the difficulty was self-created does not preclude granting the area variance. So that's what we're voting on with regards to this request. I'd like to take a vote now. All in favor?
Aye.
Tom?
Aye.
Okay, and I am in favor of it also. So let the record show that it's unanimous that we're granting this variance, and we wish everyone the best of luck. And Mr. Hamilton will follow up with regards to Ms. Henrik's concerns with regards to any type of water problems.
Thank you so much.
It's my pleasure. You have a great rest of the summer. And John, stop sending us ZBA stuff.
You know the song, we've only just begun.
Thank you, everybody, for the next couple of weeks. I think, anything we're going to be doing for anything else is going to have to be in September.
I just,
Sounds good.
I just want to say
Okay.
on behalf of the Riveras, thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, for granting.
Our pleasure. Thank you for adapting to what our recommendations were. You did a great job.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Good night, everybody. Have
Good night,
a
Good night.
Good night.
Bye.
For the rest of the summer.
Bye.
Good night.
Bye-bye.